just think about it, okay? How can we use the practice, okay, so we will get less nervous on the day of the test, and you'll be able to perform well and get our 7, okay? So, one thing I'd like to talk to you about first, okay, is have you watched my video on the writing steps? Okay, if you have not, go to YouTube. Okay, maybe I'll put the link down here too, so you can have a look, okay, guys? So have a look at that one, because the reason I created the writing steps was exactly for people who get stressed and they don't know where to start. Okay, so I've always felt that with the writing, people don't know where to start and they get really nervous and they don't get the score they need because they're just nervous. Okay, so head there. Okay, and the reason I created all those steps is to help you. Okay, and to get you to be more relaxed. And when you sit there to do the test, you look at the task and you know what to do. Okay, so that's the first thing. If I were you, I'd watch that. And then the next thing that should be in your practice to help you relax more on the day of the test so you can get your 7 is knowing the different tasks that we have in the writing part. Okay, because I think I've mentioned this story before. One of my students, he had done the IELTS a few times, and then he did it, and then he said, "Oh my God, there was a different type of question," and that freaked him out a little bit, you know, because he'd never seen that before. Okay, so my advice is practice all the types of tasks. Okay, so I'm going to share with you now some of the most common ones. Okay, and then you can make sure, maybe you can make a checklist and tick, 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 the ones you've practiced before. Okay, so one of the most popular ones is the advantages and disadvantages of a topic. Okay, and this goes for academic in general. Okay, guys, task 2. We're focusing on task 2. Okay, so advantages and disadvantages of a topic. Okay, the other one that is quite common is discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay. Another one is the agree and disagree. Okay. And sometimes they also ask you to give your opinion. Okay. The next one is problems and solutions. Okay. Sometimes they don't really say problems. Oh, what is the problem? Think about a problem, give a solution. Sometimes they ask you in a different way, but that's the base of it, problems and solutions. And sometimes they have a statement and they just say, what's your opinion? Okay, so you just write your opinion, okay? So there are 4 types, okay? So let's think about them again. Advantages and disadvantages, okay? Discuss both views, give your opinion. Agree, disagree, and sometimes give your opinion. Problems and solutions, and what's your opinion, okay? So these are the most common ones, okay? There are other ones, but they're not very common, okay? But yeah, so why am I telling you this now? Because if you're going to do the IELTS exam soon, and if you want a 7, you need to know all of these 5 types of writing tasks. Because if you don't know, okay, you're going to go there, you're going to sit down to do the test. And if you see one that is different that you've never seen before, what is it? It's the element of surprise. And honestly, you don't want any surprises on the day of the test. Okay, so I always joke with my students, you know, so every time they don't do very well on a topic or they say, oh, this topic is so difficult, I always say, it's good that you're doing it with me, not on the test. And they're like, oh my God, you're so right. And that's the power of practice. Okay, guys. So if we practice, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're saying, we can see what is easy for us, what is hard for us. And I always tell my students, okay, so let's say I have a student that always struggle with discuss both views. Okay. And then every time I send them a test and it discuss both views, I think that they panic, but I always tell them, don't panic. You just know that maybe you will have to spend more time on it just because it's a little bit hard for you. Okay. But at the same time, you have the ones that maybe you find easier. So what do? When you see them, you get excited, okay, and quite relaxed. Okay, guys. So to me, that's the power of practice, okay, guys? Because when we practice, we avoid surprises on the day of the test. And unfortunately, surprises on the day of the test, okay, will probably give us a lower score. Okay, so if you are aiming at 7 plus, okay, you should be practicing a lot, okay, just so you get there and you know exactly what you have to do.